My friends, in just a moment, my friends, I will be administering the Colbert questionnaire to none other than Natalie Portman. Her new film, Arco, is in theaters on January 30th. Plus, we have a performance by the musical artist Robin. Stick around for that. But now, folks, my first guest tonight is a New York Times bestselling author and the host of All In on MS Now. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Chris Hayes. Chris, it's always good to have you on. Enjoyed talking to you every time we've been able to the last 10 years. You're a great explainer. Explain something to me. This morning in Minneapolis, a 37-year-old woman was killed by an ICE agent, shot in her car as she was driving away. Details are still coming out. Can you walk me and the audience through what we know happened at this point?
So the context is that the president has sort of declared one of his occasional occupations of an American city that he feels is excessively liberal. He's done this with Los Angeles, he's done it with Chicago, he's done it with Portland. There was a surge of immigration enforcement directed to Minnesota. This morning there was a post by DHS about Good Morning Minnesota. And these agents were attempting some sort of ICE raid, not dissimilar from many we've seen across the country. The woman in question, her name is Renee Good. She's 37 years old. She was in a car parked on the street in a residential neighborhood about a mile from where George Floyd was murdered. She was in the car. Several ICE agents came up to her. It's unclear from the two videos that I've watched numerous times whether they said to get out of here or get out of the car. It sounds like they said get out of the car. An ICE agent approached the car. She appears on both angles of the video to be first backing up and then trying to basically drive her car away from these armed men who are coming to accost her. One of the ICE agents is positioned himself right at the front corner of the car. He proceeds to fire 3 or 4 shots from extremely close range into the driver's side of the car. The first shot from head on and the next 3 with him at a 90-degree angle. You could see it in the freeze frame. The gun is like this and the open window is like this. So he is out of the way of the car. She loses consciousness and the car heads into a lamppost where it hits. Reports indicate that she was without medical attention for between 10 to 15 minutes. There's reporting on the scene that indicate that a doctor attempted to give CPR and was stopped. Her partner was in the car, as was her dog, and stuffed into the front seat were a number of stuffed animals that belonged to her 4-year-old daughter, who has now lost her mother.
In a press conference, Governor Walz pointed out that this was predictable, that someone was going to get killed from this use of excessive force in American cities for reasons that are extremely dubious by the Trump administration. He said, "We do not need any help from the federal government," and called in the Minnesota National Guard. When was the last time a U.S. state had to protect itself from the federal government?
I mean, this has been one of the grimmest realities of this entire year, which is that the president of the United States clearly views himself not as the president of the entire nation, which is the position he occupies. It's the only position, along with vice president, that is elected by the entire nation and represents every person of this country as an equal, right? You're the representative. He views himself as the president of the country of MAGA, and he views any municipality, locality, state, or territory that is not within his political coalition as essentially an enemy, that he needs to occupy, subdue, punish, and discipline.
Just this week, they cut off $10 billion in aid to strictly blue states, 5 blue states, because evidently poor children have to be denied food for him to get his way.
Yes, and so unfortunately, we've seen this now, and to the point that the governor made. This is, I think, the 9th ICE shooting this year. ICE shot a woman multiple times in Chicago, and I think this is actually very important context. During their Operation Midway Blitz, I believe it was actually CBP or ICE, DHS officials shot a woman in a car multiple times. They claim that she shot them. They apprehended, arrested her, and were going to press charges, except guess what? They had to drop the charges because they were lying about what happened in the incident. So there is now a clear record. It's happened in Los Angeles, it's happened in Chicago, it's happened in Washington, D.C., where they failed to secure a conviction against the guy that chucked the Subway sandwich at the DHS official from 1 foot away, that they have consistently on the record been caught flat out lying about the circumstances of their interactions with the public in courts, in venue after venue after venue.
Secretary Noem, very soon after, something like 2 hours after the event, if not less than that, said this woman had done an act of domestic terrorism and this was self-defense. So obviously that rush to judgment right there, you can't trust DHS to investigate themselves. The Justice Department can't be trusted. The Labor Department can't be trusted. Can the state effectively investigate this killing to find out whether it was justified in any way? Given that this ICE agent is a federal officer, because that seems like that would be the only way to actually find out what happened, is if the state investigated and the state brought charges, if they were warranted, of manslaughter.
We are in incredibly fraught jurisdictional territory here. All law enforcement officers have, under U.S. jurisprudence, what's called qualified immunity, which makes it difficult for them to face accountability, either civilly or criminally, for the use of force. There is a very high bar for state officials to prosecute federal officials.
Has it happened before?
It has happened once before, actually, interestingly, the botched raid on Ruby Ridge that happened under the Clinton administration. The FBI sniper who fired the shot that killed one of the individuals at Ruby Ridge was subsequently prosecuted by a conservative Idaho prosecutor. And actually, a court of appeals allowed that prosecution to go forward, although it was subsequently dropped when a new prosecutor was elected. Point being, it's a very high bar. But independent of that, what you've heard from Mayor Jacob Frey, Governor Walz, from Attorney General Keith Ellison, and the Minnesota police chief is, we were going to investigate this criminal matter. And I think there's going to be tremendous pressure for some sort of judicial accountability for what looks to many people who have viewed the videotape as a cold-blooded murder.
We have to take a quick break. We're right back with more Chris Hayes, everybody. Stick around.